Okay, guys. Ok. Buonasera a tutti. Buonasera. Okay. Good evening. Hi, guys, from Italy, from worldwide, in the world. Thank you so much. I'm Marco Fantone. Welcome into FantHome Studio. Welcome into my YouTube channel. And this evening, tonight, it is a really big pleasure to have a really special guest. Is a long-time friend I met since 2018, and the first name, and it's a really pleasure to introduce to you, Monsieur Guillaume Pille. Okay.
Hey Marco, buonasera
Hey
a tutti.
Guillaume, buonasera. Okay. How are you? Comment ça va?
I'm pretty good. Your French is better than my Italian, but I can speak like that. That's all I can do. I'm sorry.
Okay. It is a really pleasure to have you here in my channel, because I remember to my audience that we met during the first NAM I participated, 2018. Yeah. I remember you, and so I can say we are a long-time friend, at least.
That was yesterday. But yeah, thank you so much for having me, Marco. I really appreciate.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to have you, and also I wanted to thank Ross Davis, who is here with us, and it is also a pleasure. And also there is Ignazio Vagnone. Ciao Ignazio, come stai? Okay, some very good friends here with me, and I told you this is let's say FantHome is my house, is my home, and everybody is a friend, and we can speak as a long-time friends. Okay.
I'm at home too. That's my home office here.
Okay, thank you so much. So there are some friends from your channels, from your Facebook channels, from YouTube channels. I'm sorry, no friends. My friends is really bad. Okay, only a few words, and my English is so-so. So my Italian is much better, but a bit better. But okay, we arrange our interviews in English for my Italian friends. I open a bracket. Ragazzi, se volete mettere le vostre domande in italiano, siete liberi di farlo, poi io tradurrò in inglese per Guillaume, ovviamente. Ecco, sentitevi liberi di mettere le vostre domande in italiano. So, well, the first thing we do on the FantHome is to introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? And what you bring?
Okay. Well, so my name is Guillaume. I'm the
Guillaume.
founder.
I remember two Italian name is Guglielmo. William in English, and it is Guglielmo. So it's my grandfather was Guglielmo.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, really. So
yeah, it's a common name. It's a pretty common name. The English cannot pronounce it.
Yeah.
But Spanish, Italian, almost the same. So it works. And that's
Okay.
Villa in German.
Okay, there are some friends for Romania. I see Eric Olsen from
one French. Salut.
French. Okay. I'm really happy because there are a lot of friends comes from every part of the world. So I'm really happy. This is international interviews. Okay, so please.
Absolutely. So I'm the founder of Two Notes Audio Engineering. I created the company in 2008, so 10 years before I met you. So my first NAM was actually a long time ago, probably 2008, 9, 10. I don't remember. Honestly, I don't remember. But 2008, we released our very first product called Torpedo VB101. That was the very first ever digital load box on the market. So we invented that new concept at the time. Okay. That was about recording or playing a tube amp, not on a cabinet, not using speakers, but playing them silently with a sound that sounds really like you are playing in the studio with a real cabinet and your own microphones, like in the studio. So it was very new, a new concept at the time. And I'm based in Montpellier. So most of the team is here in Montpellier, meaning R&D, admin, production, warehouse, everything is here. We have a team in the UK, Ross, who is in the chat.
Okay.
Make sure I don't say too many stupid things. Thank you, Ross. Ross is in Scotland. We also have two collaborators in England, and we have also a team in the US. So it's a small but international team. We are something around 20 people now, plus many partners working either on Genome or on some of the hardware products as well, to help us go faster.
Oh, very nice. But this is really interesting because 2008, that means, let's say, before Camper, because Camper out on in 2010, more or less. And the first fractal device, the Fractal Ultra, was in 2006.
Yes, 6.
But this is why you started to develop the reactive load for the because this is the beginning of the digital modeling. Let's say it's not. It's an hybrid. It's an hybrid system. But why you decided to develop this?
Well, like many people who invent something, I actually needed the product for myself. So at the time, so I started it really in 2005. So even before the XFX was released, I was recording a lot of bands at home in a place that looks exactly like your place. So the guest bedroom was a drum room, and I had another guest bedroom for the monitoring room. And the problem I had is that since I was working alone, it was hard to put cabinets and microphones in one room, run to the control room, and check and go back.
Guillaume, just a moment, because the quality of your videos is going down. Can you refresh the browser, please? We try to maybe the line is going bad.
I have everything in green on my side, but I will refresh.
I try to refresh. Maybe we fix some issue. So thank you so much for your messages. Okay, let's start. Okay, maybe. It's much better.
Okay.
Oh, well, now it's really clear. So we can appreciate also the amazing girl that you have behind you. So especially
my expensive family.
Yes, especially the red one is very, very nice.
You want this one.
So people were struggling because they cannot see what you have.
just some blurry pixels. Yes. So now we're working. What was I saying?
So first of all, you are a guitar player. First of all, because
I'm a guitar. I'm also a keyboard player. I actually started studying music for keyboard. I was a big fan of synthesizers, and early on, I got access to a very, very cool studio where I could record stuff with tape. Also, we were working on the very first Atari MIDI stuff, so playing with notator to control the first digital synthesizers. I'm talking about like 89 to 92, pretty much when I started. And I was very young at the time. And when I turned 18...
You are still young.
Yeah, thank you, Marco, but I know you lie.
We are still young because the music keeps us still young. We never grow up.
You mean keep us delusional? So no, you're right. You see the white stuff everywhere.
Me too.
You know,
and you have more hair than me.
Well, it's everything is fake. It's just CGI. I'm using the webcam to do that.
So you are using a filter.
Oh yes, it's definitely a filter. None of that is real. Um,
Okay,
so yeah,
filter.
so I started with synthesizers, and when I turned 18, because synthesizers were not cool anymore, I
Mhm.
took on the guitar, and since then I've been playing in mainly in metal bands. Nothing very big or very interesting, but I had a lot of fun. And since I was very passionate about recording, I recorded many demos and a few albums. But as an amateur, never as a professional. I was 18, between
Okay.
18 and 22, 23. I recorded many demos, some of them in my home, where I worked on the very first prototype of the Torpedo VB101. So as I explained, I'm a guitar player, and I was playing at the time on a big 100 watt amps, and I couldn't play with it at home. It was
Yeah.
impossible. And
Yeah.
the digital solution at the time, you had the Pod XT, you had Platform, you had maybe Revolver at some point, and the Fractal I didn't exist. So when I
Yeah.
started,
So
when I
yeah.
started working on the concept of the Torpedo, it was either using a pod or maybe the very first version of Amplitube, one of those
Mm,
things. It
yeah.
wasn't
Okay.
great at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and I liked the sound of my amp. So I was trying to design a product. Actually, it was not a product. It was a tool for
Okay.
me to be able to play my amp, send the signal to my computer. And it was the very beginning of the very first IR players you could have
Okay.
as a plugin, but it was very nerdy, very hard to understand. It
Mm.
wasn't working great at the time, and but I found out that using the load box and my design of load box at the time, plus the computer IRs, it was pretty good. Even the
Yeah.
pod with IRs wasn't too bad. It's called the Helix now, but
Yeah.
it wasn't too bad. And yeah, that's how I started. I built it, and at the time, 2005, six, the forums were very big, and I tested the concept on people on forums, especially Audio Fanzine in France or guitarist.com, and people loved it. So
Okay.
I figured that maybe there was a possibility to start a business with that idea. And yeah, that's how I started.
Oh, fantastic. And what your first name was in?
I'm not sure. As an exhibitor, probably 2011, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, or 2010. I'm not sure. Like Music Messe, I started before because it
Okay.
was closed in
Yeah.
Germany.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, it was easier. And Music Messe was huge in
Yeah.
2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still, it was very big. It was actually way bigger than NAM.
Okay.
Also, I was doing the AES, those shows, Audio Engineering Society, because
Okay.
I thought I would sell that product to audio engineers. And pretty soon I figured that it was actually guitarists who were
Okay.
buying it. So it was really designed as a kind of a super DI, kind of, for
Mm.
sound engineers. But the guitarist said, yeah, nope, that's my stuff. That's how it happened. And I stopped going to the AES trade shows and went to NAM and other musical instruments trade shows.
Okay. So, and okay, maybe you can confirm that in the, let's say, since 2015, 2016, the digital modeling grow up and grow up and grow up, and actually it was really, let's say, not the future, it is the present.
Oh yeah.
And too many people, and I think there are still a lot of people that prefer to use me too, because I have, yeah, I have
Yeah.
an amplifier, and it is very nice to have a solution that can permit to have your amp and the possibility to easily go into your DAW to register, because during the pandemic, many people try to make a jam, and unfortunately for the people that are not useful to use the recording of their amp, the sound was really bad. So all the digital man was able to reproduce a very good sound, but from the analog man, let's say, was really difficult, because the sound of the amp is great in the room, but to record the sound of the amp is totally different. And during the pandemic, many people discovered how much difficult is to record the amp. And okay, so
Yeah.
the device like that helps a lot, because it's pretty easy, because it's not only the reactive load itself, but it's also the IR.
The software.
Yes,
The
and
software is
also
very
your famous wall of sound is a great is a great idea. And I think what I remember was one of the first method to have to emulate to simulate the capturing of the cabinet in a room. So I think I don't remember similar devices in that time.
Well, hardware, we were the first,
Yeah.
and it took many years before someone else came into this business. For software, I don't know. I mean, when What of Sound was out, probably in 2010 or 2011, probably not a lot of other option at the time.
Okay.
I actually don't remember. But yeah, I just wanted to say a word about what you were saying about the differences between going full digital or the hybrid solution with the
Yeah.
notebook. I think a lot of the musical process is about the user experience. I'm talking about the musician's experience, and it's a very different thing to stand in front of a laptop or screen, and to stand in front of an amp, turning the knobs where you know it sounds good, and recording that, rather than trying to mimic that with
Yeah.
software. And people like you, Marco, I mean, you're very fluid with the digital product because you've been using them for a very long time. But still, to this day, a lot of people have no clue how to use those
No.
products. No clue. And you know what? If I was able to go on stage and blast my 100-watt amp with the four by 12 cabinets, I would do it. And I don't even hesitate. I'm not taking a fractal or a genome or a captor. I just blast it. That's fine. But in terms of UX, when you are used to use an amp, I think it's faster and easier to record a sound with a Captor X or a
Exactly.
Torpedo Studio. It's faster, it's more efficient, and you will get probably a better result, but mainly faster, rather than trying to build a preset from the ground up or use someone else's preset. And so it's really a different approach. That's also why, I mean, I like all the approaches. That's also why we released Genome with the amp modeling, or Opus with the amp modeling, because
Yeah.
those are great tools. They work very well now. But me personally, as a player, I'm lazy. I just want to switch it on. I switch on Captor X and I play, and I have everything I need. But that works for my music. I mean, someone who have more effects, or who wants to go into the rabbit hole of doing complex layouts, stereo, wet, dry, wet, that kind of stuff, which I'm sure you love, Marco.
I love so much.
Of course.
But
That's a different approach.
the starting point is absolutely the same, because you have to start with the right point, because otherwise all the rest is unuseful. This is the main issue, because as usual, the technology is really helpful for everybody, but you have you need to have the knowledge of the base, with the basic. So if you have not the basic, you cannot build your house without the basic.
Yes.
This is the fundamental. Okay.
Just a note on that, and I see there are a lot of questions on the chat.
Yeah.
But,
Yes.
just a note on that. Starting with a plugin that can do a billion things is very intimidating for a lot of people, especially people who are used to just plug the guitar in the amp, just throw a microphone at it, and that's it. That's my sound. To be fluid and easy with a fully digital amp modeling, it takes more time and it takes dedication, and you need to be willing to succeed with that kind of solution. And to me, that's it's not better or worse, but it's a different approach to making music. And I think that's why there is a market for everything. We also have analog solution for people who don't want latency, digital, just plug and play, no questions asked. So that I believe there is something for everyone. You just need to know what you're willing as a player to know what you're willing to achieve.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The important thing is the final result, guys. And the final result is to enjoy, to play, and to enjoy, to create music. Don't forget this. This is the main target. Doesn't matter if you play with digital, analog, plugin, digital modeler, profiler, whatever. The main important thing is to enjoy to create music. This is my mantra, let's say.
Yeah, you know what? I think to me, the most important thing for us, product designer, is to give you, guitarists, a product that inspires you. If the product blocks you in your creativity, that's not the right product for you. And of course, we can talk about tone and what sounds better or whatever. But to be honest, modeling right now works very well. There are many, many options, probably too many. The only good one is the one that makes you want to plug into it and have fun, record music, play music, doesn't matter at any level. It's for most people, it's just a pleasure. Very few people are actually making a living out of it. So of course we have the professional users for the Tonal's product, but the vast majority of our users are just guys like me or you, Marco,
exactly.
sitting at home having fun. And that's what we try to do.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. So there are some questions, right? And I thank a lot of our friends that write down on the chat the question. So there is a question from Eric Olsen. Where do you see two notes out engineering in the future? There's a lot of competitor out there.
Oh, wow. That's brutal.
So we start immediately with it.
We are the competition. Okay. I think there will still be room for products that help you play tube amps. I don't think tube amps will disappear overnight. And even if we know that the customers of tube amps are aging, and the new generation is totally fine with digital, so they may not dream of having a tube amp. But it's not like hi-fi where pretty much overnight, within 15 years, the tube hi-fi was gone. Most of it still exists, but it's very, very niche. For guitar amps, I don't see them dying anytime soon. So the low box stuff, there is still improvement to be made, and we are always working on new stuff. We don't release a lot of new products, but we still work on it. For two notes, apart from the core business, Genome is a new platform, and Genome right now offers a lot of options, but it's probably 10% of what I want to do. So there is a lot of stuff to be done. And to answer the question about the competition, well, how many car models are out there? We could all drive the same car, right? And we could all have the same home. We could all, sure, but it's the same. You may like the way I design plugins or hardware. Someone else would prefer something else. And the market is not unlimited, but it's still pretty big. So for me, it's really about having something new to offer or something different. It doesn't have to be revolutionary every time. Like we don't have a revolution every year, but there are still stuff to be done to improve, especially in my opinion, to improve helping the guitarist get to the results he wants as fast as possible. So developing tools that help them achieve what they're trying to achieve, and that's not easy to do. It's for many people, it's a very frustrating process to create a preset, for example.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's something I really believe in, helping people get to their target.
And Genome is why Genome after
The name.
Torpedo, and why Genome?
Well,
Why
first of all,
this?
let me say hi to Hugo and to
Ah.
Manu, to a lot of people. That's the French mafia who just connected there. A lot of them. I was at a
Okay.
trade show 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. I don't remember, in Paris, and we had a
Okay.
very good time over there. They're very good friends. So Genome, the name. So a thing you should know is that Torpedo was not the main project at Two Notes in the beginning. If people search my name, and I used to be a researcher, you will find some published papers, and notably you will find a thesis from the 2010 maybe about AMP modeling. So actually, Torpedo was my side project while I was working on AMP modeling.
Okay.
But Torpedo became so big that I had to spend more time on it, and in the latest 2-3 years, we've been starting with. So we've done many type of M modeling, electrical modeling, different types, everything that you
Okay.
can find on the market. We had it. We just couldn't find the time to finish a product. That's the only issue. But for the past 3 years, we've worked on an AI project called DNA,
Okay.
and as you know, the bricks that constitute every living thing. And well, Genome is the code for that stuff. So when we started building the actual product that will carry the AI, also the various others AMP modelers we have in there, uh, Genome was the name for it, because it's really the code, the genetic code of what we're trying to do.
Okay. Okay. There are many questions regarding the Genome standalone version. Will be in the future. Many people request that.
So I know. So we have it in our roadmap.
Mhm.
Uh, what I can't say is when, but yeah, Genome standalone was always in the project. We have it as a prototype. We just don't know exactly when we will be able to release the standalone. We don't know exactly the pricing either, but we will have one.
Okay. Yes, because many guitarists like to play at home and always to having fun, and it's instead to open the door and so on. It's pretty useful. And also the second question is from me. It is will be also available a version for iOS or for some.
So we I, I'd like to say yes,
Okay.
because we're not that far. But to be honest, this one is not a priority.
Okay.
Also, the interface is not 100% compatible with the touchscreen. So there are a few things I need to adjust a little bit for the interface to work. The complexity of iOS is not about the audio part of things, because that is working already. It's really the human interface,
Hmm.
because actually it's not a fixed screen. You have several
Yeah.
sizes,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
you need the plugin to work. And since I mean, you're very young, Malcolm, and sometimes when it's too small on the screen, it's a bit of a pain. Um, so
Exactly.
we need to adjust for that. So one day, I just don't know when.
Okay. Okay, there's a lot of many questions about Opus. What is the Genome? It is a son of Opus or something like that? Because there is some Opus things into the Genome.
Yes, there it is, my little baby. That's the one I keep at home, and I torture it to create new M sounds. Um, so when we developed Opus, so Opus is an updated version of the Torpedo Cabin Plus.
Hmm.
The other one, this one.
Okay.
See, I have a big desk. Um, so the Cabin Plus, it's the same. I know there's a sticker that says "Do not switch off." Too late. Um, so they have the same form factors, same knobs, and they look a lot like each other. But the inside of this one is entirely new. So when we designed CABM, we didn't think about plugging a guitar directly. It was actually a cabinet simulator, the same way we had the Torpedo Cab or the Torpedo Live before. And it's only later on, actually it's during COVID, I was in this room playing and buying guitars. And since I didn't have to drive to the office and back, I had a lot more time every day. So I was actually playing a lot more guitar. And I was playing with CABM, and I was like, what about we add a preamp to that thing? And I believe it was maybe May or June, or right before we released the Capture X, I decided to add the preamp section to CABM. The problem we had, since because CABM was not designed for instruments, so the input was not perfect for that. So in Opus, we redesigned the input with a real good instrument input that doesn't have too much noise, that is like state-of-the-art, high impedance instrument input.
Yeah, impedance, yeah.
And thanks to that, we were able to have more gain in the Opus preamps than what we can have in the CABM Plus. So that's how it started. The other thing is the memory in the CABM Opus, was extended a little bit, so we had a bit more room to fit more stuff in it. And those preamps, actually, I mean, we were pretty happy with them. Preamps, they do very well with the power amp technology that we've had forever. And when we started playing with that, I mean, it was pretty obvious to us that we should have that, in Genome. So Genome is what? Genome has all the Opus preamp or amps. It has the Capture X post effects in it, or the What of Sound post effects. So we have all the code from past products in Genome for compatibility. So if you've been using What of Sound, you will have the same EQ there is in What of Sound. You will have the same compressor. All of that you will find in Genome, so you can still play your old stuff into the new Genome. And that was really important for me to try and replicate both the hardware units and the What of Sound plugin. But Genome, since it's a computer platform, it lets us do a lot more than what we can do with Opus, because it's a hardware device and it has its let's say processor or processing limitations. With a computer, we don't have those limitations, or at least they are way easier to manage. So in Genome, we were able to put some AI and modeling. We were able to put very good reverb, chorus, delay that we don't have the space in Opus or Capture X. I've seen the question about Capture X. When do we have the delay? The issue we have is that we don't have a lot of memory. And if I'm talking about RAM memory, and for a delay, you need a lot of that, or you need to destroy the signal quality, which I refuse to do. Because we could do that and give you a 1 second delay with a very poor quality, but I'd rather not. So the Genome was really a way for us to be more creative with a lot of effects that we know how to do. As simple as that.
Okay, I do like to show the Genome for the people who doesn't know, and I have a Genome installed on my DAW. I'm using Logic X Pro. So let's discover together. Okay, the Genome. Let me. Okay, just a moment that I want to show. Okay. Okay, this is Genome. I would like to. I've created some presets. I would like to show you. This is the Kelly Clean. It is what is Kelly Clean? Gemini, sorry.
So Gemini is based off. Which one is it? Ross, help me in the chat. I don't remember if it's. I mean, it's a kind of a blackface Fender. I'm not sure exactly which model we started from. I think that's important to understand before you play, Marco. We did not try to replicate one amp in particular. So all the amps, the technology we call TSM, oh yeah, that's a blackface twin reverb. We start from something. So in that case, that's the Fender twin. But then we add our own twist, our own touch.
Okay.
So it's not a Fender, it's our version of a good sounding Fender. And I know you can make it sound good, Marco.
Okay. So I create a preset. As you can see here, you can put some effects in line, but you can also use a splitter to divide the path in two ways. But I want to show you guys this really simple. Is not only simple because you can. I put a lot of effects here, very nice effects. The core of this preset is based on the Gemini amp, and there is the very famous DynaIR. And I think it is also, let's say, one of your unique selling point. We will discuss more later on. There is a studio delay, very nice. So you can create a very complex delay and studio reverb. So I wanted to show you what is the result. Very nice. The feeling under the fingers is really nice. I start with this amp because I think on the digital modeling is much more difficult to reproduce this kind of amps, the clean breakup amps, and this result to me is very nice. And I also want to show you some other effects you can have. Some chorus, very nice studio chorus. Okay, can switch on. In this presets, I also put a clone tower. It is pretty easy to understand what what kind of effect I wanted to reproduce. And I can tell you it is not only a matter of graphics, but it is also the feeling of this effect is amazing. So. This is amazing. The combination with this clone tower and this amp is fantastic. So there is also, for example, the green mean. it's called mean, okay.
Meanie.
Okay, mean. It is okay. It's pretty easy to understand what is. And as you can see, guys, the knobs are at in the center. So all the settings of the knobs are 555. It's very, and this is the result. Amazing, guys. The feeling is absolutely natural. And also, as you told before, it is easy, absolutely easy. So you can put the effects you want, switch on and off. And so the interface is very well known. Everybody can know this. Also, the vibrato is an amazing effect. So studio vibrato is... Very, very nice, very nice. And also the vermin is a rat. And this is the factory presets number 1, where I add some effects and nothing else. So it's a really, really nice. And I think also the best things is the studio reverb. It's a single reverb, but it's pretty awesome. There are a lot of parameters that you can tweak. There is the studio delays. As I told you, it's a stereo delay. So I create, for example, a double delay. And this is really nice. I can link all the knobs together, for example. Okay, I can play for 2 hours. Very, very nice, guys. Very, very nice. And also the core of this, one of the core of the system is the DynaIR. Can you speak? Can you describe what is the DynaIR?
So that's the technology we developed actually a long time ago, and we've been refining over the year. Even if it looks the same as 15 years ago, it's very different from the original version. So our format, so we use a technology that is closed from IRs. There are 2 main differences. One is with our algorithm, you can actually move the microphone in the room at the front or at the back of the cabinet, which sometimes is very interesting, especially when you are playing with open back cabinet like this one. It's very, I'll give you an example. If you are searching for some kind of out of phase sound, like the Brian May solos, for example.
Okay.
With the mic at the back of the cabinet, you are right there. It's very easy. The other part that is pretty exclusive to what we do is the overload parameter, which is something that is very often overlooked. So the overload adds a level of natural distortion that is in the recording thing. So it's not just the cabinet itself. It records all the distortion that is in the signal path when we record or when we capture our cabinets. And between 0 and 10, you have something very natural that actually adds a little bit of harmonics, dynamics. It's very interesting. And above 10 or 15, it depends on the cabinet. But after that, you will enter in the territory of like screaming cabinets. So if you're aiming for some kind of old school AC/DC sound where you can hear the cabinet is about to explode, you should try pushing up the overload. If you're trying to do something that's more clean, I would keep just a few percent, but just try at 0 and just a few percent under 10, and you will see it adds a little bit of something that's interesting. And to finish, on this interface, you have 2 microphones. You can mix them. You can have more of the microphone A or microphone B, which is the most standard guitar miking. And it's designed to be quick. And I hope you can get, I mean, it takes me seconds to have really something that I like.
Okay, let's try to more basses, more fat sound.
People with headphones can hear the pressure.
Oh yes, of course. Oh, too much. Wow.
Yes, and often people don't look at this one, but it's because if you push it all the way up, I mean, you will not get what you want. I mean, I love going all the way up for very specific kind of sounds, but most of the time between 0 and 20, it will add just a little bit of something that is really interesting.
Absolutely. Very, very, very nice. You can select how many microphone?
We have
bypass. 8 microphones.
For each cabinet, and we have probably 700 and something cabinet now. You can select 8 microphones.
Okay, so I actually have 5 cabinets, 1 by 12, 2 by 12, 4 by 12. But there is a lot of cabinet available on the TuneNotes website.
Yeah, you can even see them from. I can show. Yeah, from Genome.
Okay, this is the last one. The last cabinet from my friend Ignazio. Okay, the Jensen. So from the Genome products, you can go to Genome here. This is a website of TuneNotes. Okay, discover DynaIR, and okay, you can find a lot of here a lot of cabinets available to download. Very, very nice. So,
and you can do that also in Genome as well. Okay. So in Genome, you can actually try them all in real time.
Okay. Perfect. So directly from Genome, yeah?
Yeah, so if you click, you see you have guitar, bass at the top.
Okay.
And what's the next to bass? There's a...
there is a 85 Kevin. Oh, okay.
Let's try click on that. Yeah, so you have all of... Did you click on it? Yeah. So click now on Vibro V30 so you can see the whole list. Nope, the name. Yeah.
Okay.
There you
So,
go.
oh,
So you can try everything
that's
from your
great.
computer. You need to be connected to the internet, of course, but you
Okay.
can click on any of those.
Okay, we can try immediately. 2 by 12, for example. Black Bear, this one. Oh, wow. This is
So you
really
have silence because you
okay.
didn't buy it yet,
Okay.
Marco, but you can play.
Okay. This is nice. Great feature. I love it.
I
Very
mean, we
nice.
like, and that's something we've offered since day one. We don't want people to buy blindly stuff, so I think it's
This
cool
is
to be able to
this is
demo.
great.
That's international competition.
Ah. Okay, I have to be so fast. Oh, this is really very nice feature. Wow, 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 wow. Very nice, very nice. So this is very, very nice.
And those are the 5 you have in
In
so when you
the
purchase
bed.
Genome, you have access to 5 cabinets. That's already a lot that you can do with those.
Yes, yes. Okay, come on, Ignazio, try the Jensen 4 by 12. Okay, let's try Jensen. Okay, 4 by 12. So 4 by 12. Let me check.
So if you want to try the Jensen, you put back the
Okay.
online stuff,
Okay.
and
4 by 20.
you should have 1
Jensen's.
by 10s. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Okay. Okay, let's
Look at
try.
that. Looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you so much, Ignazio, for your hints. Very, very nice. Oh, this is really amazing feature. So it is very nice. So you can try all the database of the speaker database, and you can try it before to play. Very, very
Yeah.
nice feature. Okay, and another very important feature it is, and I think it's unique at the moment. The possibility to work with the Codex. What
Yeah.
is it? So
So
let's explain.
So, well, we all know the Camper profiler, which was an amazing product in 2010, which was released, and it's still an amazing product. Since then, a few other technologies have emerged, and let's say 3-4 years ago, we've seen the very first convincing applications of neural networks used to simulate amplifiers or other type of nonlinear devices such as overdrives, fuzz, that kind of sound. And so we've been working on it, and for Genome, we partnered with the best open source project exploring. We call it AI modeling. Let's be honest, it's not very intelligent. The neural network you need for to replicate an amp, it's actually pretty simple. And so we work with neural amp modelers, NAM. We've worked with Guitar ML, Proteus, Ada, which is an Italian team, by the way. I believe they are near Turin, if I'm not wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And or there are guys from Politecnico. I know
Okay.
the school,
Yeah.
and it's those guys are just people having fun developing their own technology, and we partnered with them, and they were so happy to have their technology into Genome, and they are. I mean, it sounds very impressive. So the way you capture amps with that technology is very similar to profiling or
Okay.
what we do with cabinets,
Mhm.
meaning you send a test signal through your chain, so an amp or a cabinet, it doesn't matter, and then the network will learn and try to replicate the sound. So that's a part that we call the training. So for example, for the quad cortex, you can do the training in the box. For Tonex, you have to do it on your computer.
Yeah.
With NAM, you can do that online, and some other solutions, because actually that part is very intensive. You need
Yes.
actually usually a big GPU to do that,
Yes.
and it's it's very intense. So but the thing is this: if you design a good network, a good neural network, it works. It's actually very impressive, and you can get way closer to the real amp than you can with a camper or most of the solutions. So it's a different approach from what Fractal is doing, which
Yeah.
is closer to, it's not really electrical modeling, but it's very close from that. And that's what we call the white box approach. Like you have to look at the schematics.
Exactly.
And you have the black box approach, which is you don't know what you're measuring, and you just send a signal through it, and it comes back, and voila, it works. And the black box approach is always the most impressive. The only downside of the black box approach is the fact that it's a snapshot. So you have your gain position, tone stack, everything is at one position.
Okay.
And that's it. So what we do with Codex, because you will want more options. So of course you can load those profiles, which are fixed position of all the knobs on an amp. But in Codex we add some layers of extra parameters. So we add a gain, we add a tone stack, and you can choose your type of tone stack. We will have more tone stack to come. But also the graphic EQ and the enhancer that people know from Opus and Captor X, and it's very good. I think it's very good. So you can very quickly, from a profile that is static, add whatever you want, some blocks around it, so you can actually edit and make it to your liking. And that's because NAM has options as well, for example, and it's a good project. It's also very CPU intensive. So if you don't have a very modern computer, and I've seen people comment on that, saying Genome requires CPU, NAM needs a lot of CPU. Genome doesn't. The thing is this: we process NAM, or we process Codex in stereo on 2 channels. So it takes quite a bit of CPU. On my Mac, which is 3 years old, it's nothing. But on some other computers, maybe older or less powerful, it can be a challenge to run that in real time. So, but you have other profiles like Ada or Proteus, which are way lighter, a little bit less precise, way lighter.
Okay, this is the interface of Codex. Is let's say pretty easy to me. Okay, there is a gain, bus, middle, and treble volume. You can choose up to until now 40 or more profiles, but it is let's say there are a lot of profiles available
online. Tens of thousands. Yeah.
Exactly. So one of the interesting thing is the tone stack, as you mentioned before. So you can select a different kind of tone stack, enable or disable, and put on pre or post. So it is more advanced control than the profile, the camper profile, for example. And this is really now it's really interesting. So also the input, you can select different kind of input, warm, neutral, or bright. And also, as mentioned, Guillaume mentioned, you have the EQ, an advanced EQ with low cut, high cut, and also 5-band parameter for guitar, bass, or customized, and also the enhancer. Enhancer is pretty nice because helps you to enhance your sound. So the interface itself is pretty easy because there is no special parameter, and the result is really nice. Also combined with the DynaIR cabinet. And so you have mixed the technology with Codex
Yeah.
and DynaIR. This is really interesting. This is a result that I can create. And
You
also
have
the
the gate,
dynamic is.
Marco. You have the gate on. That's why it casts the signal. I think you have the gate on.
Yeah, yes, I have the gate. Yeah, so
That's why when you lower, because if you lower the volume, you can continue. Yeah. I'd like to say, Marco, if you allow me, just a word about the
Yeah.
different blocks in Codex, because for you it's simple, but it's not simple for everyone.
Okay.
So on the input side, so you have that parameter called neutral, bright, or warm. So it's really something for compensate your let's say your DI interface on your audio interface, because sometimes you will alter your sound somehow, and you may want to have a tiny bit of boost, either a bright boost or a low end boost, and it's just a simple filter, but it's
No, it's
designed to add a little bit of something. It's interesting to play with that for the tone stack. So we use electrical modeling for the tone stack part, and right now you only have two tone stacks. So I'd like to say a word about how tone stacks work. The thing is, a tone stack is not just an EQ like
okay.
bass, middle, treble, where you turn one and the other stuff doesn't move. The thing is this: the way that we're designing most amps, when you turn one knob, it has an effect on the entire spectrum.
Exactly.
So all the tone stack designs are different. Of course, we have some typical ones. So right now, I believe we have one from Mesa and one from Fender, but we will have more in the very near future. And the reason we offer pre or post is the fact that depending on if you put it before the amp, or let's say before the gain, or after the gain, it does not have the same effect. For example, if you have a Mesa Mark 5 or Mark 7, and you're trying to have a very good lead tone, pretty much everybody will tell you to lower the low end, the low bend, because if you don't do that, you will just overload the distortion with low frequency, and it will become kind of a messy fuzz type of sound, like the the jazz rock or prog type of tone that some people like, that I don't like. So what I will do is just I will roll off the low end and just use the graphic EQ to do the very old school V-shape stuff.
Typical John Petrucci V-shape.
Absolutely. But you need to have the tone stack pre-gain, get rid of the low end, and then post-gain using the EQ. And of course, there is nothing natural or obvious about that. You need to know that to be able to operate those things. So we've tried to recreate this with the tone stack section. So, okay, not everybody knows all those stories. So just play with that and play with post and pre on the tone stack, just to hear the differences and what you may prefer, because there's the matter of taste, of course. But there are very
But
different.
but the tone stack is made by you, or it is in the
Yes.
Codex? Okay,
No,
this
no,
is
that's so the part the neural networks, we use the open source project, but everything around it, meaning the input gain, the tone stack, the EQ, and the enhancer, that is what we add to make those profiles usable, in our opinion. I think you need
yes, of course.
that stuff around them.
Okay, I can try. Wow. Totally different.
So what happened, Marco, if you push the tone stack very high and you put it pre, you will actually increase the distortion.
Exactly.
That's one of the differences. The same way, if you turn it down, you can hear the level is lowering as well, just because you send less signal into the gain stage of the amp.
Okay. Blue Sphere Studio just purchased the license a few minutes ago, trusting that it will be an excellent investment for my future. And very nice. Blue Sphere
Thank
Studio.
you so much.
This is nice, even because the license cost is really competitive. Because what is the cost, and is still their promotion now?
I think there's a promotion at 69.99, something like that, euro or dollars.
No.
Yes, because Genome is an ecosystem. So of course, you buy the first version, and we will offer more. We call them components. We will offer more components in the future. Some of them would be free. Some of them would be, of course, with a certain price. But we will keep the free stuff coming. We try to have some every month, starting in May. And you will have some paying options to have, let's say, the more professional versions of our algorithm. Would it be paying options? But we try to keep the prices reasonable, because I think we're also trying to convince beginners to invest in that product and to invest in their tone, and we will not disappoint them. They would be able to do a lot of stuff. Marco, if you allow me, I'm sorry, I see our friend Henrik on the chat is getting mad at us because we're not answering his question about feedback. So I will answer Henrik. So he was asking earlier if we could do some kind of a feedback generator. At least I understand that. I have two answers for you, Henrik. First of all, you can play with feedback with your monitors. The way we do, the studio monitors. The way we do it in the studio very often is we will have on the desk, if the guitarist is in the control room, on the desk we will have a tiny amp. You have one here. Yes. Okay. That piece of shit Marshall with batteries leaking inside. So you could just put that on your desk close to your guitar, put the gain to the maximum, and you will get feedback. And it's pretty convincing. Usually in the studios, they have more money than that, so they don't buy that garbage, but they buy the pig nose or a very, very small amp. They don't play guitar with it, but they use it to create the feedback in the control room. And if you just have your studio monitors, it's very easy to make feedback with that. Now, if you want a feedback effect, I believe we will have one. I don't like it enough yet to give it to you guys, but we will be offering a solution. There are a lot of, let's say, a lot of options on the market. The thing that's hard to do with feedback generator is chords. Like you can do one note, let it ring, but doing chords like you could do like real speakers, it's still, I'm not convinced yet, but we will have one at some point.
I wanted to demonstrate in real time.
Oh, it will be loud.
Yeah, but I have not problem. On my studio, I have not problem. So I would like to try with this sound to reproduce the feedback generator. I have to switch off the microphone, of course. Let me check.
There you go.
Because
you have
Guillaume,
to wake up the entire house when you do that, but it works.
because I love to try immediately. This is the big advantage of the live stream. So we can do what the people want immediately. That's it.
I've done stupid stuff to get feedback, including like pushing a lot of level in headphones, and you put the headphone close to your pickups. It works. Is it the same as just standing in front of a wall of cabinets? It's not. Can you get something convincing? Yes. But in the studio, that's usually what we do. If we don't want the guitar to be in the recording room, in the control room, we just put a tiny amp, crank it. That's it.
Okay, this is a really natural control feedback. I love it. I love Joe Satriani, Steve Lukather. They use a lot of controlled feedback just to reproduce the infinite sustain. It's not a sustain itself. It is a loop that is created by the speakers that influence the pickups and the strings, and there is a closed loop that can continue. So if it's not controlled, it's called Larsen. Okay, so it is really tremendous. But just I show you is the controlled feedback. It is very nice to use it. Okay. So I love to demonstrate immediately. Luckily, I'm a very, very comfortable place, so I can raise up the volume without any problem. Okay, so very, very, very nice. So let's continue with the Codex interface. Is pretty easy to use in any case, and there is also the EQ and the enhancer. Enhancer helps a lot to. I can show you just a moment. I go to the. So you can increase the body of the sound. The thickness. A lot of basses, frequencies, it's amazing. Or the brilliance. I switch off. It's amazing.
Let me explain this one because everybody can hear something's happening, but it's a little bit hard to understand. So the enhancer is really something specific to two notes, the way we do it. But in short, the body and brilliance will play with the low end and the high end of your tone. So if you guys are old enough to know those BB sonic maximizer type of things that everybody had to have in the rack 25 or 30 years ago, it's similar to that technique. But the thickness is something very special. So actually what we do, the thickness is, it's a kind of a compressor with a side chain. So we actually
Okay.
filter the frequencies for the guitar or the bass. So that's why you have guitar and
Yeah,
bass.
and bass.
So it adapts to the guitar type of spectrum, to the type of sound. And we will compress only what will make your playing more dynamic, more organic. And the
Okay.
sound will suddenly like pierce through the mix instantly. And it's parallel compression since you have the dry wet setting. So of course, if you put the all the way wet and the thickness all the way up, it will pump a lot the sound.
So
But
okay.
if you play the way you did, like 50%, 50%, and just start playing, you can instantly. You usually people don't hear what's going on, but they feel,
The
and
feel
they
is
feel
no, is
better
absolutely, yeah,
playing it.
yes. It is like a punch in the stomach.
Yeah,
It's
and
exactly like this. The
I think
effect is you receive a punches on the stomach.
that's something we recommend to people who say that when they play with headphones or with monitors, they don't feel like they're playing
Yeah.
guitar compared to like a real cabinet and amp. Play with the thickness. Just don't go all the way up. Play with it and try several options, but it will bring you back that kind of moving air type of feeling. Add a third dimension to the sound. It's a cool trick. Usually, when I do a demo, I will create a great sound like you did, and
Okay.
at the
Yes.
very last, we just switch that on, and people are like, "Ooh, that's the way
Exactly.
to do it."
Exactly. Very, very, very nice. Okay, there is a question regarding the buffer on Logic. To be honest, I'm using Logic in a low latency mode, so I have no any problem to play without any latency practically. So there is no any latency, so you can play without any problem. If I disable the of course, there is a latency. I'm working with. I can show you settings, audio. Okay, I can show you 64. It is the buffer of Logic at the moment.
So
But
if I mean the genome doesn't add a lot of latency, depends on the oversampling, on some other
yeah,
parameters. Sometimes you can use an FX block that will add a few samples of latency, but the limit is usually your processor, and also we don't see the top right of the
oh,
window,
sorry.
Marco,
Yeah,
but there is an oversampling parameters on the top right, which is right now on high. If you struggle with your computer in Genome, and if you have some noise, some cracks, some stuff like that, and you want a very low latency, I suggest you go from high to normal, because it doubles the CPU load every
okay,
time you go one step down.
okay.
So of course you have less aliasing and stuff like that, but there is a price to pay. So it takes a lot of CPU.
Yes, but with the Logic, I suggest you to let the your buffer size at 64, 20, 128 and work with the low latency mode. So it is really, really nice to use without any latency. Okay,
As I
so
say,
there is.
when I don't have latency, I play just like you, Marco.
Very, very nice. So it's amazing, amazing device. I'm really impressed about it. really, really nice. And then we have other amazing effect like the twin tracker. Twin tracker is a pretty amazing effect. This is really nice. So I can show you what is the. Wow, it is really wide stereo effect. So this is amazing. What is it?
You need to listen to that with headphones or stereo monitors. I believe on your phone it will sound weird, but so again, that's a very nice trick to use. So Twin Tracker will take your mono signal or even the stereo signal coming from another FX block and try to expand it using filtering and delays and reacting to your playing. So there's a lot of stuff happening. Basically, what we try to do is to create some chaos, meaning the sensation of the stereo will start when we take your signal. So if you play, even if you use some stereo effects, but your dry sound will always be in the middle. So we need to create some chaos between what you play and what we put on the other side. So we have several tricks to do that. And yeah, I mean, it's awesome playing with headphones. To record in the studio, I'm not so sure that I would use that, but it's a cool effect. If for example, for a solo guitar on a CD, no problem. Or playing live, or again, playing at home with headphones. If you are on a mono track, it won't work. I mean, not the way you hope it will.
Yes, it is really useful, for example, to make the typical double track for the rhythm part, for example. So you are. So sometimes you have to record two guitars, two different tracks, left and right. Now you can only record one single guitar, and the twin tracker do it almost the same.
If you are in a hurry, yes. If you're not, I would still recommend you record your part several times. It's always better. But it's a cool trick. It's a cool trick.
It is possible to make an amp and effects a little more recognizable.
I don't understand the question, Henrik.
Yeah, we can have, for example, let me check something like GCM 800, maybe. This is also Genome, Codex, sorry, profile. Okay, this is really simple. This is only the amp, the DynaCab with Marshall. Okay, Milton, but it's Marshall, and reverb, nothing else. So let's check. This is a GCM 100. This is a profile of. So
Yeah, it works when you lower the
it
volume.
was the volumes and the feeling is amazing. Do Genome have a octave pedal? I
Not
don't,
yet,
not yet. Okay.
but that's something we're looking at. Yes, we will have
Mm,
one. Absolutely.
okay. So I think that there are some. It is in developing. I think the Genome. So you have
Yes, I mean,
several.
we have probably something like 40 effects in the
So,
works and more coming. Like I said, it's we wanted to offer a very good platform to cover probably 70 or 80% of what you need as a guitarist. But the let's say the more exotic stuff will come later. I can answer Henrik's, and thank you for asking again. So the name of the amps, and I understand it can be confusing, but as I explained at the beginning of this streaming, we are not replicating amps. So the TSM amps like Gemini or Aviator or the other TSM amps or Tanger, I mean, they look like something and that's to express the let's say the inspiration we got from, but they are not replicas. So look at the design and it may tell you what it is, and you can see people commenting that online. But until we do like actual replica of amps, like pure copies, digital copies, we're not calling them what they're look like, but are not exactly the same. The other thing, and that's an important one to mention, um, Two Notes is working with amp manufacturers or speaker manufacturers or cabinet manufacturers. So when we do something that is a replica, like the Jensen stuff or the Mitsubishi stuff or the Rev or Victory, we actually work in a partnership with them. So everybody's making a little bit of money because I'm not a big fan of the approach of, let's call it stealing the sound.
Yeah.
So every time we can, and some builders don't want to work with us, and that's fine. But every time we can, we like to partner with the original creator of the sound. So you know that when you buy an official Jensen cabinet or an official Celestion cabinet or an official Mesa, Rev, etc., some of that money is going to the company who created the sound originally, and that's very, very important to us.
Okay. This also in the website there is a page where there are a lot of brands, the classic brands from loudspeaker, amp, and so on. So
Yeah.
this is really nice. Okay, there is a question regarding can I use the Les Paul? This is Les Paul is a pretty expensive Les Paul, but I can do this. This is a this is not feedback control. This is 9K heroes of guitar, guys. The big difference.
It helps sometimes.
Okay. So very nice. There are some effects like a modulation, for example, the 9 phases. Very nice. So this effect doesn't need any explanation. But this is really amazing. So I have other profiles or other presets, for example, like El Dorado. What is it, El Dorado? It is something like in the range of Soldano amp, you can imagine. Yeah, so it look like. Okay. So the controls are really sensitive. And also you can modify the power amps setting, so you can, and there is big difference, guys. So this is 6L6 or L34. Very nice. And also it's really nice the automation. As you can see here, the light blue knobs is assigned to an automation, so you can assign, you can link some control with the automation, and you can handle this automation, for example, via logic. Okay, as you can see here, I set up the automation function on the parameter A1. So A1 is the El Dorado gain. So it's very easy, because you can plus, okay, you can select the knobs, and that's it. It's done. So the gain knob is linked with A1 parameter. A1 parameter, you can find it when you are in the Logic Pro X, and you can design as you want the value of this. Okay, you can, and when the bar, look the gain. So this is very easy to create the automation on your recording. So you can control any kind of parameter on Genome. So gain, bass, middle, treble, also the effects and so on. It's very easy to use, and it's very useful to create your music.
Yeah, I mean, if you need to have a boost coming at some point.
Exactly. You can increase. Ma che suona sta les Paul, ragazzi. This guitar gives a lot of benefit. Is a big trick. So I can also show you another presets like for example, this clean amp. Okay. This is based on Kali B Deluxe, maybe is a Fender Deluxe.
Yes, it is.
Very nice. Very, very nice. These presets are really easy to create. Or, okay, the angle one, okay, I already... The enhancer is really, really amazing.
It's a cool trick. I mean, you have it in this block, in the Codex block, but you also have it as a separate block. So if you're using a TSM amp or no amp at all, like for example, if you use a captor to go into Genome and you have your own real amp, you can still have the enhancer as a block on the lane.
Okay, so you have also, I can show here on the Eldorado, there is also the exciter and the enhancer that has really, really nice effects. Okay, the exciter is the look is a very well-known look from the 80, 90.
Yeah.
I remember very well this look. It is the BBA. Or you have the enhancer. It is this one. This is amazing. Yeah. So I can switch on the exciter, also the twin tracker. Wall of sound. Crazy. And it's few effects because there are not so many effects here, but the exciter, enhancer, and twin tracker are really, really amazing. Very nice, guys. Okay.
Yeah, but we will have more effects in the future. I've seen questions about some kind of boss, the chorus. I mean, is it the DC something someone was asking about? Sure, we will have more, and I believe the first ones will come again sometime in April or early May. So yes, we have a lot to add, but the thing is this, and that's probably a difference between what we do and a lot of the market. We don't want to. We could have 200 effects tomorrow. I don't want 200 shitty effects. So each of them, we treat them like we were releasing a new plugin. You know what I mean? So if you took a block and set it alone, it would sell. It's so every time we release a new block, and you will see the next ones. You'll understand. Oh, dimension D, yes,
Okay.
dimension C. Um, and every time we have a new block, we want it to be state of the art or above if we can. And that's really really important to me. Like, we are not trying to copy something. I mean, sure, we try to copy some well-known effects or amps, but the way we do it is different. Also, I mean, everybody can download Genome and try it for free, but you can see you can move around the blocks. We will have a new function soon where you can actually put blocks in between other blocks and they will
Yeah.
move and
So
everything.
you can also, I can show you that there is a possible to split, to make a
Yes.
splitter here. So you can make double chains, or you can merge. Okay, you can do this. This is quite interesting. And also you can use a double amp, double IR loader, and so on. So very very interesting. Very very interesting.
Yeah,
So.
you can do something pretty complicated with that.
Mm,
I mean, the depending on what you're trying to achieve, you never need to have like 20 blocks, but
mm.
at least you can. Well, you can do something complicated if you want, and a lot of people, for example, like
I,
to
I,
have.
I love to create some complicated things.
I know. I know. I was about to say, like, having two amps. I'll give you an example. It's a studio trick that not everybody knows, but and some bands use that live, especially metal bands. But if you mix a clean amp
Yeah.
and a highly distorted amp,
Yeah.
you mix them together, and bass players know that forever. But for distorted guitar, you can actually get back the dynamics of your playing and the attack,
The
and
attack is
still
the clean
have
attack.
a lot of distortion. And the only way to do that is to actually have two amps with different sound. Actually, even amp designers, sometimes they in the circuit they bring back some clean later on after the distortion to bring back some attack. But you can do that in Genome very easily by mixing two amps, two different cabinets, and you can go a little bit crazy if you want.
Fantastic. And remember, there is only the version 1.0.4, if I remember well. So we are only in the beginning. So there is a big room to improve this amazing product.
Oh
So
yeah, we have. So I believe the next. Oh, is it this week? I think this week we have an update.
okay.
I don't. It's mainly a performance update. So the people who complain about the CPU, we adjust a few things. For example, we adjust the codex. We adjust a few parts. So for most people, it should be a little bit less CPU intensive. Oh, that is Thursday. So just a
Thursday,
few
yeah.
days to wait to get the new version. And there are a few other tricks, but it's mainly a little bit of bug fixes. But we don't have too many bugs, but a little bit of bug fixes and mainly performance improvement and a few UI change, like I said, moving the blocks and stuff like that. So it's a pretty cool update. Nothing amazing, but it will help your everyday life with Genome.
Very, very. And also the interface is pretty easy, guys, to know. So, for example, I want to show you. For me, it is a big benefit that when I create a reverb I like, reverb is quite complex. There are a lot of control, like not only simple the control, but pre-delay, decay, diffusion, tone, reverb site. So it is a really professional reverb. And when you have find your setting, you can save your settings, okay, and can create a very wide library of your effects. There are still some presets already available on the list, but you can create your own preset, and you can easily recall your presets from other presets. This is very very useful and very easy to create complex sound, complex tone very easily with a also intuitive method, because this is what most of the people already know.
Yeah, we
Very
try to keep it graphical. And actually, some people don't use that much codex since it doesn't look like an amp, and they prefer TSM. I mean, both work, right? And they can
well,
both sound very good. Um, it's just funny. Like me personally, I'm fine with the Codex interface. I don't need to make it look like an amp to be able to use it. But for a lot of the players out there, it's important to have it look as much as possible as a real amp in a room. And that's but yeah, I mean, I understand that. I understand that. Like you're showing the compressor, so we did not try to have the compressor look like a hardware unit. It is a studio compressor. It gives you a lot of information regarding your signal, the spectrum, and everything. But it's not like a compressor pedal. We will have compressor pedal. So if you feel intimidated with the studio compressor,
Yeah, this okay. To me, this compressor is amazing because it's what I like.
mm,
Because there are a lot of parameters to handle, to control. It's not really user-friendly compressor for the guitar people, of course, but it is really useful, really like. And okay, this amp to me is a great amp, for example. And I told you before. This kind of sound is really difficult to reproduce because high gain sound is more or less easy to reproduce, but the breakup amps, the combo, it's really difficult. And now the technology of the modeling and the profiling is very nice. So
I've seen a comment about because there is always a debate: is it harder to do distortion or is it harder to do clean sound? It's actually two different uh, complexities, if I may say. With clean sounds, you need to have some kind of compressed tone. So you want dynamics, but not too much. So you need some kind of compressed tone, and to do that, like the old school modeling using like the line 6 stuff, it's hard to do because it doesn't compress. It distorts what they do, but it does not compress. And how power amp especially was really designed to add that kind of compression that people like. When you do and you know what, the speaker side of things with clean tones is a little bit less important, but with distortion, you may not want that much compression happening. Like most of high gain amps are not like the power amp section. That's why they are so powerful, because you don't have to run them very high to get the tone you like. But the speaker part is absolutely key here, because with distortion, your spectrum is very wide. You have a lot of frequencies, harmonics. It's a mess down there. If your speaker is not, the speaker simulation is not good, you will hear that it's not good instantly. So for us, originally, I fixed the speaker part with the DynaIR technology, but for the clean stuff, it's really about the amp modeling. You know, there are, and of course, some designers of plugin may not agree with me, but at least that's how we felt. We had to fix that issue with modeling by treating them separately.
in the chain of sound, I give the 60 and more than 60% of the quality of the sound on the speaker. So usually, because speaker is many people think a lot of the amplifier, but the amplifier go into the speaker. If the speaker is not matched properly with the amp, it compromise definitely the sound, the total sound. So it is of course it is a match, but to have a very good speaker is absolutely important than have sometimes the good amplifier. So it is of course it is a chemix, is a mix, is a matching, but to me is, and this is the reason that the impulse responses give a big benefit to the digital modeling. The digital modeling grow up a lot since when the convolution created the impulse responses. So and now the technology that also combine and to have the Dyna impulse responses, to have possibility to have many layers and simulate the movement of the microphone in the space, and you can recall different impulse response and also make interpolation between an impulse and other impulse, give a realistic feedback, realistic effects of the amp in the room. That it is what we are looking for.
Absolutely. And I mean, doing the cabin is not that hard, but you have to think about in the past the way the way modeling was doing it was just a filter. And yes, as Ignacio is mentioning it, it is the last filter you hear before the
Exactly. So,
microphone, which also can be seen as some kind of a filter. But it's a very complex filter. When you look at the spectrum or the frequency response of a cabinet, it's very complex. Not just whoop, something like that, or just like a low pass or something. It's actually there's a lot of accidents happening in the spectrum, and the way you're able to reproduce of the accidents is actually what you hear. And if you don't do that, you're actually giving too much information from the amp. Like I was saying, the when you have an amp with a lot of distortion, and if you want to experiment that, just switch off the DynaIR block on an amp. You will instantly hear a lot of frequencies that you've never heard with
yes.
a real amp and a cabinet, and you don't want them, and they need to be out in a nice way. Yeah, if you wanna if you wanna try, it's
Yeah.
awful.
Yes, of course. Okay. With a especially with the high gain
So
amps, it is
distortion, of course.
okay, like this one. Okay, this is the sound without the amp, the cabinet. Wow. And also, if I change the cabinet, it's change dramatically the voice of the. Oh, doesn't work. Okay. So the cabinet is really big responsible of the total of the sound.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. You know what? I'll tell you a little story. When I started working on cabinet modeling, um, I did not have that much experience with many cabinets, and I think that's the same for most guitarists. Like when you buy an amp, you will either buy the cabinet that comes with it, because when an amp designer is tuning the voicing of the amp, they always have at least one reference speaker or one reference cabinet, right? So you will buy just that. But if you try 10, 20, 30 cabinets, which you never can in a store, and
Yeah.
like even studios, they don't have that many cabinets as backline. They usually have like 2, 3, 4, and that's it. So when I started recording dozens of cabinets, I was like, but they sound even more different than what I expected.
Yeah, exactly.
Even the V30 with the same, I mean, as an example, with the same speaker in 20 different cabinets, not two of them sound the same.
Absolutely.
It's really impressive, and that's the reality. That's how it works.
Absolutely. And also the microphone, it is has a big impact. The microphone and the position of the microphone on the plane of the speaker. So there are a lot of elements that contribute a lot to the total voice of the amp. So the amp is a part, but it's not the biggest part. Okay, it is the creator of the sound, but the cabinet and the microphone, it is a very good part, very big part of the total sound.
I will add something to that. It's something I often say to guitarists or bass players when because most of the time they spend a lot of money in those, in guitars, in amps, FX, and they usually have one cabinet.
Yeah,
And when
yes.
they go on stage, that's not their problem. That's the sound engineer, and that guy doesn't have time, or he doesn't care enough.
Holy
It not
words. Holy
not
words.
everyone forwards with the team. So if you play at the local pub or something, which is the vast majority of us, the guy don't care. It doesn't care at all. So I told the players that you spend that much time refining your tone, but when you go on stage and the guy doesn't care and just throw like a dead SM57 just right on the cone, there is no way you will sound like you were hoping to sound. That's not gonna happen. It would be shit at the front of house. So at least with, for example, one of those with a Captor X or some other of our devices, what you send to the front of house is what you want. And then, of course, they need to mix it with the other instrument. But at least you control everything up to the very last stage where, well, then it's the PA. But at least you know what you're sending. That's
I'm
very
I,
important to
I
me.
am really happy because you say what I'm saying since 10 years ago. So
I know.
most of the people take care only what they hear on the stage, and doesn't matter what's happened after the microphone. So, but
Yeah.
what is the sense? So you spent money and money for a big amplifier, for like a boutique effects, incredible vintage guitars and so on, and you don't take care about the microphone, and okay, you destroy a
Yeah.
lot of money for a single component like the microphone. It's incredible.
No,
Uh,
people need to know that. Absolutely.
Okay, so there is a question from Albino. You can repeat about the possibility to have the single effects available and accessible as a standalone plugins.
So I mean, so that's actually a question I've had some time ago. So I believe, Albino, if I'm correct, you're asking if you can have one of those blocks in Genome
Yeah,
as
exactly.
a single VST or AU. Uh, that I didn't think about that. I have to say, we've had that request from a few people. It's registered. If we have time, why not? But what we plan to do with Genome is to have a lot of stuff in there. And if we have a lot of individual blocks, that means a lot of VSTs or AU, and the complexity of maintaining all of that is huge. So I will not make any promise. It's not that hard to do for us, but it's just that we would have to maintain not one plugin, but probably 200 plugins overnight. So far, if you want to do that, just switch on just one block of Genome, because the interface, and that's a question I had. The interface itself, it's not taking any CPU really.
Okay,
So if you just want one block, just load one block, keep that window on, and you'll be fine.
exactly.
I'd like to answer the one about the neural network for speakers modeling.
Yeah.
I believe someone else asked that earlier. So neural networks are very good for two things. At least the ones we use for amp modeling. It's uh, nonlinearities, so distortion, okay, and a little bit of time-based effect. Little time we can't do yet, like a delay or stuff like that, really well with neural networks. But at least you can have a few, let's say, milliseconds of stuff we can reproduce with the. So what happens in an amp that we can do because it's fast, or a fuzz, but a delay or a chorus, that's something else. Uh, the thing is with speakers or cabinets, there is a dynamic element of it. There is a nonlinear element of it, but it's very, very tiny in compared to just the filter, the complex filter we were talking about. And the neural network, to be able to achieve that tiny thing that we actually do with the overload parameter, to be able to do that with a neural network would take a lot of CPU, a lot more than when we need to do our kind of convolution with the DynaIR. So I mean, we could do it. It's possible to do it. Probably someone will do it, but it's not very much CPU effective. It's
Mhm.
pretty intensive, and the
Mm.
benefit for, let's say, the average listener, the benefit is very
Mm.
hard to hear, to be
Mm.
honest.
Okay. There is a question, interesting question, and I can answer. Any chance for vocal change down the road? I did some experience in putting vocal throughout the genome, and it was fun, but obviously not made for it. Why not? I can say because compressor, it is the main part. It is a studio compressor, and it is very powerful. Also the reverb, the delay, the EQ. So to me, it is also pretty nice to make. For example, in your DAW, you can create a track with the genome also for the vocals. What do you think, Guillaume?
That's a new question for me, Christopher, and thank you for it. It's actually a pretty good question. Well, to be honest, to make it a vocal channel strip, we don't need a lot more than what we have. We would need some kind of de-esser because the compressor we have right now doesn't have a de-esser. We would need maybe a multi-band compressor, some kind of stuff, but Ross, who is listening, and Ross is our head of marketing, I'm sure he will love your question. And starting within 20 minutes, he will probably come back to me asking, can we do that? The answer is yes. Can we do it? We would need to add a few more stuff and probably redesign a little bit the interface, but we can. Will we do it? That's a different question.
Ross is writing down.
Of course he is. No, that's right. I didn't think about it. That's why
Ross is a machine.
Oh yeah, Ross. I mean, he will run after everything.
He's a steamroller.
Oh yeah. But that's a very good idea. I will think about it. We don't have that in the roadmap so far, but I will definitely sleep on it and think about it because it's interesting. The thing is this: if we do it, I want to do it in a way that's slightly different from everybody else. So I would have to think about a way to do it that would be interesting and not just another compressor, another de-esser, another. I mean, we have the delay, the reverb, some effects. So not just the run of the mill type of vocal channel strip, but I would give it a serious thought. Absolutely.
And also, Genome is pretty suitable for bass because there's a lot of bass stuff inside it, and this is really important because during your music creation, it is also necessary to play bass. And I have seen you have an amp, you have a cabinet, you have effects, you have also the instrument, EQ and exciter and so on is suited for bass and guitar. So it's really, really interesting. It's much more than you can see in the beginning. See, I'm honest because by the time I discover a lot of interesting things, and I'm pretty impressed about this. So very, very nice. So the interface is really intuitive, but digging into deep, it is you can find some Easter egg. so yeah, in the time for the Easter time, so you can find a lot of very, very fun things and very, very useful things. So
yeah,
it is incredible.
Sorry, Marco. Even something as simple as an EQ, we try to make it so it's something in between a guitar product and or bass and a studio product. So we want to give the guitarist or bassist the same very powerful tools that producers use to create your guitar or your bass tone and have that in this. That's why we call it more of a channel strip rather than just an amp modeler, because there are some effects or processing that are past the amp or a few pedals or the cabinet. You can do a lot around that to actually shape your tone and like be a producer, not just a guitarist or bassist. And I hope that's something people see that is a little bit different from most amp modelers.
Okay. So seems incredible, but 2 hours passed. So 2 hours
Yeah,
and 10
I'm out
minutes.
of candy.
So it is really incredible, and a lot of friends are still here, and I thank a lot our friends for also thanks for the question. I'm sorry that we are not able to answer to all questions, but by the time we have a possibility to read the chat and try to answer. Also for the people who will see the interview in the next days, you can write down your question and comments, and me or Guillaume can answer in a second time. So I'm really enthusiastic, and it is a really a big pleasure to have you here and on my home, and it is a really nice and friendly conversation, as I told you. So
No, I
it's
knew.
what is incredible. 2 hours passes away without any problem. So and very 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 nice. And
No,
I
thank you.
also wanted to thank Ignazio, all friends, Ross Davis, very very helpful, and thank you, Ross, for your big helpful. Also, a lot of mails, a lot of communication, and to doing that, and many congratulations, because your product is something very interesting. Even if there is a lot of products in the market, but Genome is really powerful and really nice product. And I encourage you to buy it, because now the cost is really low, because 69 euro or dollars, and it depends. It is really low, very cheap price for a very powerful tool for create your music. So
Yes, please do that. I'd like to add something. Please buy some stuff, because I'm going on vacation to Italy very soon.
okay.
For our Italian friend, we are waiting confirmation, but I will do at least one masterclass. We don't know yet if it will be in. I told you, Marco. So there is probably one either in Firenze or I don't know, the one Montalcino.
Montalcino, okay.
No, yes.
You can drink very good wine. Even in France,
Oh,
there are a lot of good wine, but also in Italy, there is a big competition between Italy and
I'm
France.
fine with Italian wines. Like my favorite wine actually grows like right here at the end of my garden. But I know I will be in Chianti country. I will drink Chianti.
Yes.
No questions asked. I would be very happy to try that. So when we have please follow the Two Notes page. When we have confirmation for the date, it should be around 11th or 12th of April. So yeah, stay tuned. When we have the confirmation for the date, we will post it on the socials for Two Notes or my own Facebook page. And I would love to meet with you guys. It will be a small masterclass with I don't know how many people yet, but I'll be happy to answer any question in
Okay.
English.
In English. Okay, so for my Italian friends, I will do. I speak in Italy. Io rifarò questa non ovviamente con Guillaume, ma da solo. Ovviamente vi farò una presentazione di Genome in italiano, a parte che diciamo, il caro amico Francesco Banti l'ha già fatta, quindi andate a vedere la sua, poi vedete anche la mia, insomma, poi ci possiamo unire, e quindi la farò anche in italiano, in modo tale che possa essere capibile anche dagli amici italiani, perché il prodotto è veramente molto molto promettente, molto interessante, più di quello che sembra, perché effettivamente all'inizio lascia un po' così dire, sì, sembra molto semplice, poi in realtà ci sono delle cose veramente molto interessanti. Okay, so
I agree. I
okay,
absolutely
did you
agree.
understand?
Yeah, well, I mean, yes, I can't speak it, but it's close enough to French, so I can understand.
No, I explained to my
Yeah.
Italian friend that I will repeat this demo in Italian, so for the Italian friends. And also there are my friends Francesco Banti that live in Tuscany and already done very interesting reviews of Genome. Okay, so Guillaume, thank you very much for your time and for your friendship, and I hope to meet you again very soon. And okay, so that now I go with the outro. So please stay a bit that I online that I say you ciao. So Ciao guys, ciao ragazzi, ci vediamo presto. Ciao 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 ciao.